What's the longest, I guess, because it seemed like my family been getting a royalty check for a long time. I mean, it went from my grandmother to my mother. So how, I guess, what's the longest that they just keep, I mean, getting or
I mean, I think there's oil wells that have been pumping, as far as I know, for maybe 100 years.
we must have one of them because
Tip-
it went through my mother's mother,
Yep.
grandmother, then my grandmother, then my mom, and it's still producing. But as it goes, it's still the check gets divided between the heirs
Right.
too. So that's when the checks get a little bit smaller. But for it to be producing that long, I mean, that's a
Right.
long time.
So that's kind of, if you think about, just the properties of a natural resource, it's
Okay.
going to picture it's like a swimming pool down there. And I mean, every gallon you pump out is going to be a gallon that's not there anymore. So as as it's producing, that's going to dwindle over the years.
Right.
But it's also a massive, reservoir Texas has several that
Right.
it's just going to constantly drain down towards.
Right.
Well, and so the other thing about that will lead a well to be pumping for, very low numbers for years on end is because it's holding the lease. And so there's a couple of operators that had leases back in the 70s, or maybe a little bit earlier, that was back when the royalty was 1/8. And so those wells that you see that are pumping, 4 barrels and have been doing that for a decade
Years.
is because that lease is being held by that production in its entirety for the entire acreage that's on it. And so if they have to release, they're going to be.
It's more beneficial to keep it old than to jump it new because
Right.
now the pricing and the things. That's why I said the little bitty checks. That's a lot different.
Well, and when I was working in Burleson County, which is outside College Station, I was leasing or involved in leasing people who were neighbors with some people who had those ancient 1/8 leases that they just see their pump jack going up and down. Meanwhile, everybody around them is getting massive checks to sign new leases and getting paid twice as much royalty. And it's, you see that happening. And there's nothing they could do to get out of it until the oil company, drops the ball, and then they can try to break that. So.